I don't know how this game's going to turn out between Alabama and Clemson. Nobody does. You can't base it on past performances against them. They've won one, we've won one. They were both very close games, played with very different personnel. From the Alabama perspective, Deshaun Watson will not be able to beat us this year. But they do have a dynamic young quarterback who has made waves this season. A similar player in a lot of respects, but he is not Deshaun Watson. And neither is Alabama the same Alabama. In fact, this Alabama football team is probably not among anywhere close to being amongst Saban's best. But that doesn't necessarily mean, that being the case, that doesn't necessarily mean that this particular Alabama football team is not the best team in the country this year. That's a whole different ball of wax. We've suffered injuries. Injuries have affected Alabama's performance this season more so than any other during Saban's tenure here. As a matter of fact, if you think about it, the injury bug has been kind, for the lack of a better term, during the last 10 years or so. Alabama has been relatively unscathed as far as not receiving a rash of injuries that adversely affects or has adversely affected their performance on the field during any given season. But this season has been different, and Alabama's faced some adversity, and I think the Saban and his staff has done a masterful job using smoke and mirrors to hide some of those deficiencies caused by the injury situation. But Alabama's got a lot of good football players, a lot of them. And I've always been one who has subscribed to the theory that if you give Nick Saban 30 days to prepare for a particular football game, even if it's against the Cleveland Browns, Alabama's chances are pretty good to come out on top. Everybody knows that the last two seasons, when Alabama has faced Clemson, they've both been in the national championship game, where either team has only had a week or so to prepare for the other. So this particular year, we're going to find out how much of a difference that might make for Alabama, or even Clemson, as far as that goes. They've got 30 days to get ready for us in the same manner that we do them. But something tells me that the same rat poison that Saban alluded to earlier this season will be used in this instance to his advantage. He will use some of that same rat poison to inject propaganda into the minds of his football team and use that as a competitive advantage. It's going to be a great game. I don't look for nearly as much scoring between the two teams. That has been the case the last 2 years. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised if either team didn't reach the 30-point mark. I do expect both teams to be in their 20s, and I do expect the football game to be close until the end. But something tells me that I like Alabama's chances. I'm not saying that I think they're going to win the game, but I feel pretty good about it. Only time will tell.